We flew British Airways direct from Toronto to London, landing at Heathrow Airport. We were met by our guide Mark and immediately headed to the Cotswolds and the village of Burford. This very picturesque village was our first introduction to England's West Country. Burford, often called the gateway to the Cotswolds, offered a charming experience filled with historic architecture and scenic beauty. We strolled down the famous High Street, lined with medieval buildings housing quaint shops, traditional pubs, and cozy tea rooms. Burford was the perfect spot for exploring the idyllic Cotswolds countryside, offering a delightful blend of history and natural beauty. Our next stop was Stow-on-the-Wold, which offered a delightful glimpse into history and charm. Our highlight was the Porch House, reputedly the oldest pub in England, with origins dating back to 947 CE. We also explored the Church of St. Edward, a beautiful structure known for its two iconic yew trees flanking the north door, reminiscent of a scene from a fairy tale. The impressive stained glass windows and homemade kneeling cushions made for an interesting visit. Mark explained how post boxes had the initials of the ruling monarch at the time of their installation. We came upon the pretty town of Blockley, where they filmed the successful British series Father Brown. When we arrived, we noticed a film crew at work, and as we approached, we saw the star of the show, Mark Williams, as well as John Burton, who had time for a chat and a few selfies. Many of Britain's popular shows are filmed in the Cotswolds, including the Sister Boniface Mysteries in Lower Slaughter. This quaint village offered a stroll through picturesque stone cottages and the parish church of St. Mary, which dates back to the mid-1800s and is built on the site of a 13th century church next to the River Eye. We continue to Bourton-on-the-Water, also known as the Venice of the Cotswolds. The village charmed us with its quaint stone bridges arching gracefully over the River Windrush. Bourton-on-the-Water is home to Cotswolds Motoring Museum, a collection of antique cars and motorcycles. The blend of traditional tea rooms and inviting shops added to the village's timeless appeal, making our visit both delightful and memorable. Continuing southwest, we made our way to the village of Painswick, known for St. Mary's Church, an iconic landmark renowned for its yew trees, each originally planted to match the number of days in a year. We spent our first night at the Sudbury House Hotel, located in Farrington in Oxfordshire. The next day we continued southwest to Castle Combe, which was like stepping into a postcard. The village, often called the prettiest in England, captivated us with its historic atmosphere and peaceful surroundings. People used the stone in the town center to mount their horses. When we arrived in the village of Laycock, it was time for a coffee and some baked goods at the local bakery. In the heart of Laycock Village stands a beautifully restored 14th century barn, once used by nuns to store grain. The village, with its charming architecture, has been featured in numerous films and television shows, adding to its enchanting atmosphere. Our next stop was Bradford-on-Avon. The town's historic charm unfolded as we wandered along the River Avon, admiring the ancient stone bridge and interesting topiary displays. We explored the 11th century Saxon Church of St. Lawrence, which offered a glimpse into the town's rich history. The rain shower did not deter from an enjoyable visit. We continued our trek to Wells, England's smallest city. Exploring the 800-year-old Bishop's Palace, supported by a swan-filled moat, was interesting. The swans have been trained to tap the bell with their beaks when they want to be fed. On our must-see list was a visit to the famous Wells Cathedral, which dates back to 1176. In 1338, the weight of the cathedral's central tower had begun to push down. Supporting piers were then built to transfer the tower's immense weight down into the foundations and prevent the supporting columns from spreading apart. The medieval clock's intricate mechanism was a highlight, as were the small tunnels leading to other chambers. In the town itself, we came upon a small shop that sold potions to remedy a variety of ailments. Walking down Vickers Close, the oldest residential street in Europe, felt like stepping back in time. We darted around rain showers as we visited Glastonbury, where in 1191, monks at the abbey claimed to have discovered the graves of King Arthur and Queen Guinevere. Today, Glastonbury attracts people interested in paganism, Druid traditions, earth energies, and meditation. We stayed at the Mercure Southgate Hotel, centrally located for our adventures in Devon. Our first stop in Devon was a visit to Halden Belvedere, built in 1788. The historic folly with its manicured gardens offered stunning panoramic views of the Devon countryside. We ventured onto the Devon Moors and an area known as Bone Hill Rocks. These striking granite formations are significant for their geological features and for being a popular spot for bouldering and picnicking. Our next stop was the village of Widdicombe-on-the-Moors, dwarfed by St. Pancras Church. The 40-meter tower was struck by lightning in 1638, killing 4 people. At the church entrance is a gate with a stone block used to rest caskets during funerals so that mourners could pay their respects. The town of Ashburton was home to Sir Walter Raleigh, one of England's most famous Elizabethan figures. He is often associated with the founding of the English colony at Roanoke Island and with introducing potatoes and tobacco to England. His home was in this red brick building. Driving along the narrow lanes brought us to St. Andrew's Church, where Sir Arthur Conan Doyle wandered among the gravestones in search of interesting names for the characters of his upcoming book, The Hound of the Baskervilles. The long wooden ceiling of the church is decorated with bosses or carved wooden ornaments of religious scenes, as well as the Green Man, a heathen symbol intended to attract pagans to the church. We visited Buckfast Abbey, nestled in the Devon countryside. The abbey showcased stunning gardens and beautiful architecture. We admired the intricate stained glass windows and learned about the monks' history and craftsmanship. And of course, their ability to brew Buckfast tonic wine, a very popular beverage in Britain, no doubt to its 15% alcohol volume. Our visit to Coomstone was captivating. The rugged granite outcrops of Coomstone Tor offered breathtaking views of Dartmoor's wild beauty. It is also the place where King Arthur allegedly pulled Excalibur from this very stone. Our visit to the ruins of the Holy Trinity Church in Buckfastleigh was fascinating. The 13th century historic site was destroyed by fire in 1992. On our way to visit the 800-year-old Post-Bridge Clapper Bridge, we passed Dartmoor Prison. The ancient bridge spans the East River, and it's the oldest remaining bridge in England. The new one, a few meters away, is only 300 years old. Wild Dartmoor ponies were everywhere, as well as belted cows, which our guide explained were used to make Oreo cookies. We stopped to visit Bovey Castle, one of Devon's most impressive country houses. It was built in 1907 by Frederick Smith, the heir to the W.H. Smith publishing empire. Today, the castle is a beautiful, luxurious hotel. Our visit to Clovelly was a step back in time. This picturesque village with its steep cobbled streets has a rich history dating back to the Domesday Book. Historically, donkeys were essential for transporting goods up and down the hill, navigating the narrow winding paths to reach the harbor. Today, the donkeys are largely for show and the goods are hauled on sleds instead. The village remains car-free, preserving its timeless charm. We enjoyed the stunning coastal views and quaint cottages, and fortunately, the only vehicle in the village, a Land Rover, offered us a lift back up the very steep hill. We made a quick stop in the village of Linton, with many of its buildings dating back to the 14th and 15th centuries. It's known for its rugged coastline and amazing views. Nestled along the coast, the village of Lynmouth offered stunning views of the seashore and harbor. A wire statue called the Walker greets visitors, and it is unique in that it even has fingernails. Lynmouth experienced a terrific flood in 1952, which sadly took 35 lives. Lynmouth featured a water-powered railway or funicular which dates back to the late 1800s. The area's pirate heritage is celebrated in many of the town's shops. Our visit to the Valley of the Rocks was amazing. This dramatic coastal landscape in North Devon is significant for its rugged rock formations and abrupt cliffs. Historically a grazing area, it is steeped in folklore and offers incredible views. The moors of this area are amazing, and Exmoor is no exception. With a rich history of farming and mining, Exmoor offers a chance to explore untamed natural beauty with wild ponies and thousands of sheep dotting the countryside. One of England's most spectacular cathedrals is the one in Exeter. This magnificent Gothic structure, with its roots dating back to 1050, is an architectural marvel and a treasure trove of history. Walking through its majestic nave, we admired the longest uninterrupted medieval vaulting, a testament to the craftsmanship of its builders. The cathedral houses an impressive collection of medieval stained glass and intricate carvings, each panel telling a story of its own. It is interesting to see graffiti carved into some of the tomb effigies from hundreds of years ago. I was surprised at the size of the bosses that decorate the ceilings. We made a quick stop at the 14th century Powderham Castle. It is significant for its stunning architecture, their Courtenay family's rich lineage, and the hundreds of stags in the attached deer park. Our visit to Babbacombe was delightful. Known for its charming beaches and stunning cliffs, Babbacombe offers a blend of natural beauty and intriguing history. This is the hotel Agatha Christie stayed at from time to time. We visited the city of Torquay with its picturesque waterfront and unique boutiques and restaurants. Torquay is the birthplace of Agatha Christie. Our next stop was a journey into England's past. Nestled in the heart of the borough of Torbay, Cockington Village features thatched cottages, tranquil gardens, and picturesque parklands that seemed untouched by time. The history of Cockington dates back to the Domesday Book around 1086 and preserves traditional English rural life. The reeds for the thatched roofs are now mostly imported from Poland, but local artisans keep the process alive. Torbay is known for its beautiful bay, and as the English Riviera, it boasts a rich maritime heritage and stunning coastal scenery. Our next stop was Greenway House, Agatha Christie's enchanted holiday home. Nestled along the River Dart, Greenway is a perfect blend of maritime history and stunning landscapes. The 18th century house is filled with personal collections, offering a glimpse into Agatha Christie's life and inspiration. We strolled through the lush gardens and came upon the famous boathouse, where she wrote the novel Dead Man's Folly. Known for its picturesque harbor and thriving fishing industry, Brixham has played a pivotal role in Britain's maritime history, particularly during the Napoleonic Wars. In Exeter, we came across an old Tudor house, which was fascinating. This historical gem showcases authentic Tudor architecture and offered insights into 16th century living. The picturesque town of Dartmouth on the River Dart in Devon is known for its deep maritime heritage and played a significant role during the Age of Exploration, as seen here by a replica of Sir Francis Drake's ship, the Golden Hind. The Dartmouth Castle, standing guard at the river's entrance, offered us a glimpse into its defensive past, which was critical during the Hundredth Year War and subsequent conflicts. Dartmouth's charming streets are lined with medieval and Elizabethan buildings, adding to its old-world charm. Throughout the old town, many stone and timber-framed buildings date back to the 1400s and 1500s. These were built when Dartmouth was one of England's busiest ports, trading wool, wine, spices, and cloth with Europe. Built in 1890, the Dartmouth railway station served as a passenger booking office and ferry terminal. It was never used as a train station. The bustling harbor, filled with yachts and fishing boats, reflects Dartmouth's ongoing relationship with the sea. We watched a unique sea tractor carry hotel guests from Burgh Island to the mainland. The island is renowned for its Art Deco hotel, which opened in 1929. This luxurious establishment attracted celebrities, writers, and even royalty. Agatha Christie frequented the island and set two of her novels there, Evil Under the Sun and Then There Were None. Because of her notoriety and her desire for peace and quiet, Agatha Christie rented this quaint cottage on the grounds of the famous hotel. Our next visit was to the Barbican in Plymouth. This historic area with its cobbled streets and charming waterfront is where the Pilgrim Fathers famously set sail on the Mayflower in 1620. The Barbican's significance as a maritime hub is evident in its preserved architecture and the many historical plaques that tell stories of exploration and trade. Wandering through the narrow lanes, we enjoyed a mix of shops and art galleries. The stunning views of the harbor made our visit both educational and memorable. We left Devon and made our way into Cornwall, England's most western county. Our first visit was to St. Mawes Castle. Built by Henry VIII in the 1540s as part of a chain of coastal defenses, this cloverleaf-shaped fortress helped protect against potential invasions from Europe. The castle's commanding position offers breathtaking views of the surrounding coastline. Walking through its well-preserved rooms and battlements, we learned about the strategic significance during the Tudor era and beyond. Our next stop in Cornwall was the coastal city of Looe, made famous recently as the location for the hit British series Beyond Paradise, which features this church, which has been transformed into a police station. The harbor also plays an important role in the series, as does the famous Sardine Factory restaurant. The village of Looe offered a glimpse into its rich history and scenic beauty. This picturesque coastal town, split into East and West Looe by the River Looe, has origins dating back to the Celtic period. Looe's name derives from the Cornish word for deep water inlet. Historically, it thrived as a fishing and trade port, with its bustling harbor still active today. Our first night in Cornwall, we stayed at the Menabroom Hotel, a 600-year-old stone cottage with wonderful accommodation. St. Just in Roseland Church is more than 800 years old, and complete with palm trees, it has a Caribbean vibe. St. Just, a 6th century Celtic missionary, landed here by boat around 550 CE and established a small chapel. Nestled on Cornwall's south coast, Mevagissey is one of England's most picturesque fishing villages. Its name comes from two early Celtic saints, Meva and Issy, who are believed to have founded a church here in the 6th century. The village grew around its natural harbor and by the Middle Ages had become an important center for fishing and trade. During the 18th and 19th century, fleets of pilchard or sardine boats filled the harbor, bringing prosperity to the community. Today, colorful cottages and narrow winding streets preserve its authentic character. Our next stop was Lanhydrock, one of Cornwall's finest country estates, where centuries of history meet magnificent gardens and woodland. The name Lanhydrock comes from the Cornish language, with land meaning a church enclosure or sacred site, and Hydrock believed to refer to an early Celtic saint, making the name mean the Church of St. Hydrock. The estate was established in the early 17th century. In 1881, a devastating fire destroyed much of the building, but it was painstakingly rebuilt, preserving its Victorian elegance while incorporating modern conveniences of the time. We stayed at the Carleon Bay Hotel, built in 1925. It was created during the golden age of seaside tourism, when wealthy visitors traveled by train to enjoy Cornwall's beaches, fresh air, and coastal scenery. We continued through Cornwall to St. Michael's Mount, one of Cornwall's most fascinating historic landmarks. Rising dramatically from Mounts Bay, this tidal island has been a place of pilgrimage, worship, and defense for more than 1,000 years. Its name comes from St. Michael the Archangel, who, according to legend, appeared here to fishermen in the 5th century. The island's history began with a small religious community, and in the 12th century, monks from Mont Saint-Michel in Normandy established a church and a priory. Over the centuries, it became a fortress, a family home, and a symbol of Cornwall's rich heritage. Today, the castle and gardens remain home to the St. Aubin family, who have cared for this remarkable island for generations. It was important to remember the tide rises and the causeway floods, so a boat ride was a better way to return. One of the most interesting sights that we saw in Cornwall was the Minack Theatre. Carved into the granite cliffs above Porthcurno Bay, this remarkable open-air theater was the vision of Rowena Cade, who began creating it in 1931 with the help of her gardener, using little more than hand tools and determination. The first performance took place in 1932, when local actors staged Shakespeare's The Tempest, Beneath the Stars. The word Minack comes from the Cornish word Maenach, meaning a rocky or stony place, perfectly describing its dramatic coastal setting. We stopped at Land's End, the westernmost point of Great Britain. It is mostly a tourist destination with a few shops and restaurants, but we did have an opportunity to meet a famous personality and share a marmalade sandwich. Strong Atlantic winds constantly blow across the area. The fishing village of Mousehole is one of England's most charming villages. Pronounced Mousehole, its name comes from the Cornish words Mouse, meaning a small inlet, and hole, meaning a creek or harbor, describing the sheltered natural harbor that has protected boats for centuries. The village grew into a fishing and trading port, becoming especially famous for its pilchard industry, which brought prosperity during the 18th and 19th centuries. Mousehole also has a remarkable history, including the devastating Spanish raid of 1595, which almost destroyed the village. Today, with its granite cottages, narrow lanes, and peaceful harbor, Mousehole beautifully preserved the maritime character of Old Cornwall. Picturesque Charlestown Harbor was the setting for the famous British series Poldark. Walking through Charlestown felt like stepping back into a bygone era. This beautifully preserved harbor village was built in the late 1700s by Charles Rashley, a local landowner who transformed a small fishing cove into a busy port for exporting China clay. On our way to visit Port Isaac, we decided to stop briefly at neighboring Port Quin. Like the rest of southwest England, this scenery was spectacular. Port Isaac is one of England's most picturesque fishing villages and has lately gained notoriety as the filming location for the Doc Martin series. Nestled along the rugged north coast, this charming harbor community has a history dating back to the 14th century when it developed as a small fishing and trading port. The name Port Isaac comes from the Cornish words Porth Isaac, meaning corn port, reflecting its early role in exporting grain and other goods. Over the centuries, the village became an important center for fishing, slate, and coastal trade. Its narrow lanes, whitewashed cottages, and historic harbor have changed little over time. This building and the surrounding area gained international attention as the filming location for the hit movie Fisherman's Friends. It's also the place where the original singing group was formed.
Line boys, pull it tight, we leave this port before first light. Tar on the deck and salt on my coat, seagulls spin and the old rope's grown.
Our next stop along Cornwall's north coast was Tintagel. Perched dramatically on the rugged coastline, Tintagel Castle dates back to the medieval period and was once an important stronghold of the Earls of Cornwall. The site is best known for its connection to the legend of King Arthur, who is said to have been born here. We continue to Bose Castle, which is nestled in a narrow valley beside a natural harbor. Bose Castle has a history dating back to medieval times, when it was an important port for fishing, slate, and coastal trade. Its name comes from Botrew Castle, built in the 12th century by the Norman nobleman William de Botrew. The village is famous for its picturesque harbor, winding streets, coastal walks, and the spectacular scenery of the North Cornwall cliffs. Bose Castle is also remembered for the devastating flash flood which swept through the valley in 2004. On our way back, we came across Wolford Chapel, which revealed a remarkable connection between England and Canada. Built in 1800 by John Graves Simcoe, the first Lieutenant Governor of Upper Canada, this beautiful chapel stands on the site of an earlier medieval church. It became the final resting place of Simcoe, his wife Elizabeth, and several of their children. Today, the chapel is owned by the Ontario Heritage Trust. We spent our final night in southwest England at the Manor House Hotel, an 800-year-old property on England's southern coast. It was difficult to imagine the walls surrounding us had been built in the 1200s. Yet here we were, walking through its ancient halls and actually spending the night. Nearing the end of our trip, we stopped at Lulworth Cove in Dorset. This perfectly formed circular cove was created over thousands of years by the powerful forces of the sea, erosion, and changing geology. Lulworth Cove is also one of the highlights of the Jurassic Coast, a UNESCO World Heritage Site stretching along the Dorset and Devon coastlines. Famous for revealing 185 million years of Earth's history through its exposed rock formations, the area attracts geologists, walkers, and visitors from around the world. Our last stop before heading to the airport was the town of Salisbury and, of course, the cathedral. Built between 1220 and 1258, this magnificent Gothic masterpiece is famous for having the tallest church spire in Britain, rising 123 meters above the surrounding countryside. Inside, we discovered one of only 4 surviving copies of the Magna Carta from 1215. A document that helped establish the principle that everyone, including the king, was subject to the law. The cathedral is also home of the Salisbury Cathedral clock, dating from around 1386, and considered one of the oldest working mechanical clocks in the world. As we leave the cathedral and head to the airport, we say cheerio to the beautiful southwest area of England, where many go to escape to the country.